Welcome to The Coffee Grind with the Denton Chamber of Commerce, powered in part by Classic of Denton. The views and opinions expressed by the show hosts and their guests are those of the show host and guests, and not necessarily those of the sponsors, DentonRadio.com, or the Denton Convention and Visitors Bureau. For more information, visit the Policies and Procedures page at DentonRadio.com.
Good morning, Denton. My name is Travis Veselka. I'm the Director of Membership and Marketing for the Denton Chamber of Commerce, and you're watching the Chamber Coffee Grind. And here we have my co-host.
No,
could be coworker.
Yeah.
Co-host. Please introduce yourself.
I will. You really went with like a whole new introduction.
Yeah,
so I was
we're
kinda
throwing
like,
it around.
I'm like waiting. Like, when am I supposed to talk? Because I don't know. This is way different. Good morning, Denton. My name is Randy Skinner, and I serve on the Chamber board of directors. And we are so pumped because we have Chrissy Mallouf.
Chrissy
as our
Mallouf.
guest.
Where's my pom-poms?
Yeah, I know, right?
Local real estate agent.
Yes. Well, and so introduce yourself, because like we could introduce you, but
We could talk about you
we
all
can talk
day.
about you, but tell the people who you are.
Hopefully positive things to talk about.
Yeah, positive. Yes, of
We'll
course.
find out.
Well, there's always skeletons in closets. No, okay. Chrissy Mallouf, for those that don't know me, most of you do, but if you don't, I'm what they call a Dentonite. Married a true, like, Flo Hospital, born and raised Dentonite here.
Wow, yeah.
John works for the credit union here in town.
Shout
we
out
have
to
two
that kid.
kids. Believe it or not, I don't look old enough, but I have a daughter going into high school, and I have a son going into middle school. So I've got Holden and Madison. We're very involved in the community. That's our passion. We love serving. We love giving back. I can talk all day long, Denton, because that's our heart. Our
Well,
heart is
and
Denton.
y'all both went to Denton High.
We were
correct?
Broncos,
So,
and
I mean,
so-
like legit,
Straight up Denton.
straight up Denton.
Like when
Yeah.
Denton had two middle schools, like it was Strickland and Calhoun, and then
Uh-huh.
you used to be able to name all the elementary schools, which
Right.
I have since, like, I think the past couple
You
years, I
lost
can't
track.
keep up. I mean, I used to know, like, every principal at all the school, and now it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, there's a new school building here, so it's
Denton ISD is growing.
which
well,
is great.
and they're
Yeah.
having their event, the
new employee reception.
That,
reception
last
every-
night at 1 a.m. when I couldn't sleep, I registered 2 sponsors.
Yeah, I
So,
saw your
okay.
email come in.
Yeah.
Shout out! Thank you for sponsoring.
I'm excited about that.
It'll be a good one.
Yeah, it will be a great one. I'm pumped.
So we're going to talk about real estate a little bit today.
Yes.
And so for those that don't know, you deal in what? Residential or commercial?
Pretty much primarily residential.
Okay.
Like, I am your residential pro.
So you're going to help
guess.
you're going to help people who are relocating, you help people move into new homes and get them all situated. So
Yes.
you have a very like intimate view on the real estate situation.
Here in
Yes.
Here in
Denton.
Denton.
Yeah.
So let's just kind of like dig into it. What kind
Okay.
of like
What is real estate? No, I'm just kidding. we don't have to go that.
let's
We don't
start
have
at the beginning.
How do
the
you
beginning.
apply for a loan? How do you get these houses and pay for them? Which I do have to answer those questions daily. You'd be
Of
surprised.
course.
I mean, it's it's good. But no, Denton, it's still one of the top desired areas, which
Yes.
I love because I remember I did move here when I was young. My parents divorced at age 10. And you probably, most of y'all know, my grandparents used to own the Piggly Wigglies. Like, we were the Piggly Wiggly family of Denton. So I'm the pig girl. So we moved here. And I remember leaving San Antonio and saying, I'm going to Denton. People are like, who? What? What's Denton? I mean,
What's that? Right.
No one knew. And I would always, for years, it's in between Dallas Fort Worth. And now it's like, you say Denton, people know Denton, which
Yes.
is great.
Yes.
So for me, I love it when we get relocation clients because not only do I sell the houses, I mean, I'm their pro for everything. So I go from, here's the best places to eat.
Right.
Here's your doctors in town that we love. Here's your, hairdressers. You'd be surprised. They'll call you for the strangest things, but I'm like, you've got to go here. And, let me tell you about this street. So it's kind of fun, especially living here and being active here because there's so many other things besides, hey, here's a house that I can give them insight on.
Right.
But Denton has so many cool desired areas, which y'all know. You've got people that come here and fall in love with North Denton, and they love the Idiot's Hill area.
Yeah.
Which, and you start saying that, and they're like, wait, tell me the story of Idiot's Hill. And then you've
Right.
got the neighborhoods that are just typical South Denton. You've got, Southridge, Forest Ridge, Montecito, and Oakmont, which is technically Corinth, but a lot of it's Denton ISD, so we're going to count that. Part of it.
All right, we'll
part
allow
part
it.
of Oakmont is Denton. And
We're gonna
really,
take it. We're gonna
Oakmont
take
too.
it.
They break up into so many Oakmonts,
Right.
but you've got those areas, and of course downtown. That's the biggest thing now is everyone wants to be walking distance to downtown. Well, there's not a lot of inventory that's available downtown.
Right.
Yeah. If it is, then they're holding on to it because the values
Of course.
are. they turn around and there's so many Airbnbs now that you have people that I know that here, that's what they do. They rent them out. So
they'll keep the house and then they rent it.
yeah. And so it's kind of hard because you end up getting like people that like, I want to walk to the square, and you just kind of like, I mean, that's probably the biggest challenge because they have this little radius that they want to live, and especially professors. I mean, over at UNT and TW,
wanting to stay close to
yeah, and
campus,
I totally get that, but there's a small pocket. So a lot of it is like you see a lot of us agents where we communicate with each other pre-market. I mean, especially the past few years, the market has been so crazy that we do a lot of what do you have coming soon? Like, I have a buyer for this. Can I see it? Can I preview it? I mean, the past 2 homes, the past one before this one I bought, it was a coming soon. And it was like on Easter that I found it. And I messaged the agent and I was like, now I know it's Easter. You don't have to work, but I need to see the house before you list. And so there's a lot of that in Denton because those properties are so desired, which I love. And for me, it's fun to go in the homes because if I haven't been in them, I usually have, or I know someone that's lived in them. So I like going through the history of the home and kind of like, oh, I remember that. That was this huge Denton, socialite that I followed when I was a kid or I looked up to. So, or, I'll go in a house and I'm like, I think I went to a party here in high school. Oh, this isn't good. It's like that. I mean, that's Denton for you. I mean, it's everything has some kind of connection.
Of course.
So it's fun.
So as far as like in Denton, one thing that you talked about was that there's limited inventory. So tell us a little bit more about kind of other trends that we're seeing in Denton.
We are seeing, so the market is shifting, but it's not a bad shift. Okay. So what's happened the past couple of years, you saw such low inventory and you had all these relocation clients and everyone coming in. You couldn't get a house if you're a first time home buyer here unless you're paying $20,000-$30,000 over. It broke my heart for the first time home buyers because you had investors coming in, you had cash buyers that were like, I'm gonna throw cash, I'm buying this house, and it was really hard for the first time home buyer. Now we're seeing a little bit more inventory. Now some areas, like I said, are still they're harder to get into, but you see a little bit longer days on market, which aren't long, but we were used to the past couple of years, hey, it's on the market 4 years, we have multiple offers. Well, I'm not 4 years, 4 days.
4 days, yeah.
Woo, 4 days, 4 years, I'm in trouble as a realtor.
4
I'm
days
firing
is
you.
problem.
Yeah. But now you see like the 30 to 60 day average.
Okay.
And it scares the sellers because they were used to following the trend, what it was. But real estate's always a trend. It's up and down. So,
yeah, cycles.
I mean, it's good. The prices are still higher, but they're not outrageous, if that makes sense. Like, it's a little bit more affordable. Rates, I mean, I'm not a mortgage rep, but I mean, they're still low. I've had clients getting in the high 3s, some low 4s. So everything's still affordable, but I've also seen some sellers negotiate credits for closing cost. I mean, so you see a lot of that now, which is how it used to be.
Right.
Which is, to me, it was normal. It's, everyone kind of works together to make the deal work. And you still get some of the sellers that are greedy, but those are the ones that you see sitting longer. And so you see more price drops. I don't know if you've noticed, if anyone that follows, you're going to see a lot of price drops.
That, yeah.
And
it's
before,
like
you didn't see it.
Discounted $15,000. I just saw one the other day that was like that.
I mean, I know we've done some, and it's just we list them, and then, now we're a little bit more motivated. So I always have to tell my clients, like, nothing's wrong with the house. It's just the market's changed. But it's still, like I said, Denton's still very hot. I mean, homes are selling. I think we've sold, just in the past couple of days, had several execute. And like you're saying, a lot of people are relocating to Denton, or you get a lot of people that have lived here and they have their eye on that specific neighborhood or school that they want, which is big in Denton. So you get a lot of the top desired ones that just kind of sit and wait until that right home comes along, which I think I don't blame them. Why rush and settle?
I have a quick question. So the last few years, when Toyota relocated here,
a lot of people came.
That kind of thing. So was there a visible effect from that you could tell?
Yes.
And how did that look? What did that do?
I mean, that like all those big corporations that did that, that's when everything just skyrocketed. I mean, you're right. You saw homes going 20,000, 30, and they were even paying over appraisal. And so that's what scares me. It's like, as a realtor, if this client has to sell in a few years, I want to make sure they're in the position they can sell.
Right.
So that's,
if you're paying over appraisal, it kind of limits your ability to do that.
And so I'm thinking, life happens and everyone has situations. I mean, we have, in real estate, you help people from divorce to death to medical issues. So I always try to think of, like, is this home something that you could still sell? Like, if the market shifts, I'm not guaranteeing you're going to make a ton of money, but is it in an area that holds its value? And so, and you saw, we personally saw realtors that were not from this area, outside of like the Denton, that aren't familiar with places, and they would put people in homes paying over value, which we know are not going to be held value, and then not
Right.
places that I would recommend like a first time home buyer buying. So it's, as a realtor, it hurt because you just see people and I'm like, no. I want to be able to sleep at night knowing that clients are in a home that they love and not hate me.
Sure.
Right.
But you did see a lot of that because people are just so desperate for a home. They were just throwing offers without even seeing houses. I mean, we had a lot of that. I mean,
Oh yeah, sight
That's
unseen.
crazy.
yeah, sight unseen. And then they move in and they're like, well, I don't like the neighbor. And I'm like, so
Oh,
when we do
no.
a lot of that, we try to go like, I Facebook Live and Skype half the time because
Yeah.
you go to these homes and
That's a great
I
idea.
stand in the front yard. I'm like, that neighbor has 10 cars, you know, like not being obvious, but I'm like, okay, there's that neighbor. Here is what's by you. And then, I mean, because you can look on Google, you know,
Street view. and
but
stuff,
it still
yeah.
doesn't give you everything. So,
Right.
but
Yeah.
yeah, no, we've actually had a lot of that where they've moved a couple years ago and now they're like, I don't like the neighborhood.
So they're looking to move again, or
And that's what's
What
hard is
have you.
they're making money, but it's not as much as the values have held, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not quite as, like last year if they would have sold, I would have been like, well, yeah, it would have been gone in 4 days. But now it's like, well, let's give it a couple months.
So now it's kind of dipping back down. A
Yeah,
little bit
dipping
more.
back, yeah. for
What?
sure.
So we have a couple of comments. So
Mm-hmm.
Deanna gives you a shout out,
Aw,
Chrissy.
Deanna's great.
And then Jason just really agreeing with
Oh
how.
yeah, hashtag downtown Denton is hot. It is.
It is
It really
hot.
is.
Yeah.
I love that about downtown Denton. Every time we have a guest, that's what I do. I mean, I have to take them to downtown
Yes.
Denton and show them the history and just what Denton has to offer. I mean, it's
Sure.
I have family from San Antonio and they come in all the time and I'm like, okay, we got to go to the square. I mean, it's just amazing.
Right.
So I mean, we'll
There's
end up
always
at
something
rooftop
going
of
on, for
LSA
sure.
or Barley and Board, and yeah, so it's fun.
So what else? What other? You brought some stuff with you. So what other
yeah, no, this is
things
just-
do we want to make sure we talk about in regards to real estate in Denton?
Well, I broke down like by zip codes from May to July. What I did was just average days on market. So kind of showed you like the top desired zip codes, I guess, for like shorter days on market right now are 76205, 76209, and then you've got 76210.
Oh, that's
and
mine.
Then, yeah.
Oh,
So there you go.
Shorter days on market.
Yeah,
There you
so
go.
that's your, okay. I know a good realtor.
Oh, right.
Where would you go though?
Yeah, where would you go? That's
Oh no,
a-
I don't want to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So we just are in the process of moving right now,
Mm-hmm.
and it is exhausting. Don't get me wrong. Like I love that we moved, but we were in Corinth, so don't say that word here.
Oh,
but,
that's a dirty word.
It was dirty word. But now we're back to true Denton, and it was funny because I used to joke. I'm like, I'm a Denton realtor. I have to be in the heart of Denton. You
Yeah.
know, that's us. We're a Denton family, and it's just. I
Right.
mean, you got to the point where I was like, I can't even vote on election. I can't do anything. So I was like, we're back in Denton. So
Uh-huh.
we literally, I mean, just this week have started moving, and it's good to be back.
And you're coming from where?
Just Corinth, Oakmont. It's I mean,
Gotcha.
here's the deal. It's 76210, but it was Corinth, but it's like 2 streets away.
I have to
too,
battle
you know?
that all the time when I put in my zip code
Yeah,
and
it
it offers
pulls
up,
up
are you in
Corinth.
Denton or Corinth? And
Yeah.
it always
Denton.
defaults to Corinth. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, see, yeah.
Don't
Oh,
get
no,
this
no, no, no.
twisted. Don't get this twisted.
it is confusing. That's the thing. The zip codes here, it's like, oh my goodness, yeah, and people do
Right.
that all the time. So, yeah, I'm like, well, there's a difference, yeah, and just like we were talking about, like it Denton. So there's people that want the heart of Denton, and then there's people that want like the outskirts, you know.
Yes.
So
Right.
just
a little distance.
just a little distance, and so it just depends to each person's interest, and I think
Totally.
a lot of people have to kind of find their groove and what they do, and but for us, I'm like I found myself even living in Corinth. I had friends that would go towards Highland Village. I'm like, no, we were always in Denton. Like that was just our thing. So
It's the hangout.
yeah, it is the hangout.
So those 3 zip codes that you named off, when you say that they're spending less days on market, that basically translates to this is a more popular
Yes.
place to live.
And usually a lot of it goes, depending on the person, it's going to go towards like the neighborhood or the schools or like just if it's convenience. I mean, no one likes to fight traffic. I mean,
yeah.
and right now
Right.
we all know that
Right.
like depending where you're at, and that's the hardest thing is like I always tell people, I'm like, I promise it's not always this bad. You know,
Right.
like if it's under construction or I'm like, hey, I'm a Denton girl, I can give you all the back roads.
Right.
Like I know the back, but then now they're not even back roads anymore. My grandma would never get
They're
on the highway.
so much
in
more developed
Denton.
now, yeah.
Like so I had to learn the back roads. Like she would freak out and be like, don't get on 35. I'm like, Grandma, we gotta get you to the hospital. You know, she's like, you're gonna make
can't
my
help
blood
it.
pressure.
It's gotta be on the highway.
Yeah, 76209 is the best.
Shout out. We're going to do an area
Shout
code
out.
shout out.
Who has the
good-
best?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It's like my husband has that original like 76201 zip code, you know,
Yes.
or like the 940.
That's
you know,
ours,
it's-
76201,
Yeah,
yeah.
which is
Yep.
great. Yeah. So, but
Yes.
it was funny because even being like married, he was a North Denton kid, I was South Denton kid, And it was a big, I mean, I was like, I'm South Denton. I'm staying in South Denton when we get married.
Right.
I love North Denton, but it was like, we had this like little competition growing up in Denton. It was like, you're on this side, I'm South, but we're all great. But it's hilarious now because I'm like, what were we thinking?
It's a like a false dichotomy
Yeah,
thing.
but that was the 2 middle school days.
Right,
That's
right.
when we grew up in you had Calhoun and Strickland.
Either went here or there.
Yeah, and you went to Denton High, and we were all one.
One or the other.
Yeah, it's fun. It's so weird. Now it's like I can't keep up.
So you have another set of
Yes,
statistics.
okay. So
Tell
we
us
got,
something else.
We got that. Okay, we can talk Denton County a little
Check.
bit.
Sure.
Okay. So Denton County, here's the average sales price. Now remember, this is county.
This is a
so
county.
Okay, not
Denton.
just Denton.
Denton's going to be a little less, which is good. So average for Denton County is $307,065. Number of sales since year to date are 3,095.
That's
not bad.
like
We're gonna
half
have
the
a
year.
guess.
Like that, yeah.
We're gonna have
And
a
then
guess.
63 days on market for the average. So that's not bad. Denton is probably more in that like 250, 275 range average price, which is good.
That is good.
It's still it's still
pricing.
affordable. 76210 rocks.
Oh,
Fancy Kroger all day. That's true. I love
the
that
cheese
Kroger.
with the cheesemonger.
Yeah,
Yes,
the
yes.
cheesemonger is there. With
Yes.
the
You'll see me at that Kroger. And that's funny about that Kroger because I'll go instead of like click list, I go.
Yes.
And my husband's like, you're taking like 2 hours. And I'm like, well, you stop
There's
and
a
chat.
lot to see.
Well,
There's
and
people to bump into.
Yeah,
is
you
the
bump into
fancy
people. It is
Kroger.
a fancy
It's
I'm
Kroger.
way
surprised
better
we
than
haven't
the
bumped into each
I
other
know,
yet.
yeah, well,
The Kroger
I'll
by
go
my
to it
house
tonight.
is not known as Fancy Kroger.
Yeah, we're not going to
we're
say
not
what
gonna
it's
go
known
there,
as,
no.
but we all know.
We all know if you're watching.
We
Yep,
all
that's
know.
true. Yeah.
What's the nickname for the Kroger off of 288? Is that acceptable to say? Is there one
well,
for it?
Is there
I
one?
have one internally with my friends that is also not okay to say,
'Kay.
but
Because we
I
don't want
don't
to
know.
disrespect
I mean, that's
anybody.
just like 288 Kroger, I
Yeah.
think, right? Like,
'Kay.
I don't know. If anybody knows of a nickname, please let us know so we're all informed.
Yes, yes. Give us that nickname. That's bad. See, well, and like I said, growing up here, I was a Piggly Wiggly family. I wasn't allowed to shop at any of the grocery stores.
You had to shop at the pig.
Yeah, I had to shop at the pig. I mean,
Only the Piggly
I got in
Wiggly,
trouble
yeah.
in high school one time because I went to Walmart.
Oh my
It
god!
was like, that is a bad. I was like, I'm sorry.
dare you.
How dare you go to Walmart?
No. So we're good. But yeah, that's done for you. Let's see. What else do I have here? We've got time frame from May to July, which we kind of talked about that already. Like the average for listings. Okay, so listings in May there were 250. For this month we have right about 100. So, so that's not bad. Like sold. This is sold for the month. Sorry, just Denton.
And
In Denton.
how would you
Yeah.
interpret this data? Like, what does that say to you?
That's a good question.
Okay, so I don't know. Summer's not. I feel like listings. I don't feel like as many people are moving right now. Like it's
Okay.
weird. Like
The heat of the
spring-
summer?
Yeah. And here's the deal.
Just
I
you.
love-
You're just
I'm-
one of the crazy
I'm
people.
one of the crazy people that happen
course.
to sell and move and have all my clients moving. But I'm just saying, like, if we see it start slowing down towards this time of year because think about, like, if you have kids, school, you have to register in the next couple of
Right.
weeks.
Oh, right.
You're
So-
already moved.
So
right?
yeah, so a couple years ago it was different. A couple years ago, Denton ISD started a little bit later, and people had a little bit more time. So we tell our clients, if you don't list by like that, like second week of July, it starts getting a little bit. I mean, there's not as much active buyers, so we see a little bit more averages in
right.
the market.
I
And so
see.
that's half my panic is I need to get my house listed, but I've got carpet and paint to do. But it's I feel the rush because I know that if you have a certain area that's a top desired school, you've got to get that house ready and have to go on the market. So
Yeah.
it seems like spring was super, super crazy, but then it kind of picks up again. It's like we'll have a little bit of a slow, but I mean, I end up having like I would say December's are some of my craziest ones ever.
So I've heard,
Really?
So
yes.
yeah, I mean
That's
December's. I mean
interesting.
my like Christmas is not like slow for me. It's good, but I think a lot of people will end up relocating or just end up building. I mean, or something. But
Yeah.
a lot of people will move during the holidays, and it looks. Think about it. If you list your house, it really
Yeah.
my house looks better than it's ever looked during Christmas. I have like cute decorations.
Of course,
I mean,
it's all nice
yeah,
looking. Yeah.
I mean, and now it's like you want. I'd have to like stage it to look cute. I mean, it's like, you want a stager?
It's like
Yeah,
already
yeah,
ready.
yeah.
It's like built in
Yeah,
for you at
yeah.
the holidays.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun. So it's, I mean, we see a little bit of a slowdown, but I feel like we're still going on listing appointments, but buyers aren't feeling that urge to like
Sure.
jump into a house. So the buyers that I am out showing, they're just taking their time, which I get it. I mean, you're not in a rush and why settle. So when you find the right house, you find the right house.
And you can take
So,
your time,
yeah.
see different ones.
Yeah, which is good. So I mean, it's like I said. I mean, you still have to price it right. That's our biggest thing, and have it look nice. So, I mean, not like a couple years ago where you could have just sold anything. I think that's it. I mean, really, a couple years ago, anything sold. Now it's like
People are a little more
that
discerning.
carpet, it has to go. Or all the different paints.
You just have to do a little bit more to it.
Simple things like changing out hardware and light fixtures and just, doorknobs when I still have the standard like brass. I mean, those are easy fixes, but it makes a difference when the buyers are looking at the house.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so that's a lot of people don't realize that, and we'll walk through and we're like, okay, even if you can change that mirror to a decorative mirror, it makes it's little things that make a difference over time.
Oh, yeah. They're little upgrades, little updates.
And they don't cost. And curb appeal, oh goodness, curb appeal is huge. Because think about it, I have my clients drive around and look at the neighborhoods and look at houses, and I always tell them it takes me a good couple minutes sometimes because everything's done with it. Like e-key or syncs into the app, to open the door. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm sitting there trying to like balance my phone and my keys.
They're looking around.
Yeah. So I'm like, make sure those cobwebs are off the door. Like,
Clean
Brush
it
them
all.
away.
Yeah. Like hide leaves. I mean, just brush it, dust it. But they sit out there and they start doing this, and I'm like, that's huge. So
Totally. And so these are actually just
tips.
good little tips
Yeah.
for people who are looking to sell.
Pro tips.
Also, for those who are looking to buy, here's the things you want to be looking at.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
That's
yeah,
good
just
good info.
little things. Well, thanks. I try once in a while.
You should probably be a realtor.
Yeah, I should be a realtor. Hashtag didn't realtor.
And again, for those who don't know, Chrissy is really active on like social media.
Yes.
Crazy.
And so a lot of just your daily kind of job, but it's your life, your job,
my life,
your
you're right.
passion. You put out there for people to kind of watch you do
I'm
these
an
things.
open book. I mean,
Yeah.
I joke that I'm like my own reality show. Like, I don't know why HGTV or
Hasn't
TLC.
picked
I
you
mean,
up yet.
Yeah, I know.
I
like,
really
they
don't
need to
know
get to
either.
Denton. They just.
Oh, totally.
They're
You could
slowly
be
making their way
the
here.
next Joanna Gaines, but you'd be the very first Chrissy Mallouf.
There you go. I like it. Yeah. Joanna's got nothing on me.
Joanna's got nothing.
I'm a little bit more exciting.
Well, yes, that's
She's
very
great,
true.
though, but
Here
I'm
you
not
go.
There's now officially
yeah,
a
there's-
feud
yeah, there's a
between
feud,
Chrissy
yeah.
and
I
Joanna
was-
that's just
There
started.
was a little jealousy whenever she got her show. I'm like, how did she get discovered? Gosh, why don't I have like this like great like I don't know. It's okay. I'm not
One
crafty.
day, one day.
One day.
Indeed. One
Yeah.
day. It'll
Well,
happen.
we can submit this show to them as
Yeah.
part of your portfolio. Yeah.
Part of your
Great,
sizzle
yeah,
reel.
Yeah, there you go.
Your sizzle reel, yeah.
Can
Was
I
there?
get some IMDb credit for that?
Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
That would be nice. Yeah.
As herself, credited as yourself.
Yeah, there you go.
Was there any other statistics that you wanted
I
to
just
share?
brought the days on market. I can also break down, let's see here, the Denton Southeast, which kind of is a different category, which is a little
That's
bit of like
Louisville, the colony.
the colony, and then you got the Flower Mound and that area. So on that stuff, you've got average sales prices $382,
Okay.
$769, 2,142 homes have sold since the beginning of the year, so a little less, but of course the sales price is higher. Other than that, I mean, you've got their average days on market are 43.
Okay.
So it's, I mean,
Okay.
they're not bad. It's just one of those things like you see us, we're having to market more. We do a little bit more. Like just this week, I had some listings that are sitting, and I just went yesterday and recorded with a videographer to try to do something different.
Sure.
Try to like let's highlight the home and
Amp it up a little bit.
Yeah, just because pictures. I mean, and that's the thing. Your pictures have to pop.
Oh yeah, you want to
I mean,
showcase.
Yes, I mean, so don't leave like your dirty underwear on the bed. I mean, it's like I'm telling you, you'd be surprised.
tip.
Yeah,
Right.
pro tip. I mean, you see people that don't make their beds, that stuff. So when you get those reloads looking, or people looking, they look online. You want it to look good. I
Yes.
mean,
course.
so
Only clean laundry,
yes,
y'all.
clean laundry. Like, yeah. I mean, I just hide it in a closet and shut the door. That's what I do. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
now.
right.
We all have the junk
That's
drawer.
why you have to get the junk
Put
drawer.
it under the bed. Yeah. That, I mean, that's why when you do schedule homes, we usually try to give you notice so you have time to clean.
Right.
So, I get that.
So Denton County, Denton real estate market is still relatively healthy.
Oh, yes. Like we've seen so much growth. Like, and we continue to see so much growth. And even down from like here, that growth we're seeing now is going down that 380 towards Wise County. Like that whole area is just like, it's Denton's growing so much that they're starting to extend that way just so they can still live close enough, but get to Denton. So we see a lot of like people that come here and they live in the little small towns just because they want to be located still near here. So Denton County it's one of the top desired areas for sure.
Have you heard? Do you know anything about the large community developments that are happening on 35W?
I had like the Hillwood, like all that.
Yes.
So that's just crazy to me because I guess I went to the Denton ISD growth tour, and when they said they had purchased land for their 5th high school, I
Yeah.
was thinking, okay, first of all, growing up in Denton, you learned about Sam Bass. Like, that's where, like, Sam Bass Hill was and, you know,
Yep.
Go Hide, the robbery. So I was like, oh, they can't do something with Sam Bass Hill. That's the first thing I thought of, you know.
course.
So, hey, Leah.
Hey, Leah.
Leah's sweet.
Hey,
She's a Denton
Deanna.
night, too. Good girl. But, yeah, so they're supposed, I mean, that's supposed to blow up. I mean, that is really
Right.
supposed to be big. They're supposed to have, like, propose so much growth that they're going to have, like, 2 elementary schools out there. My thing is I have clients that are kind of interested in that area, but
Yeah.
they're also like, when are the grocery stores coming?
Sure.
right.
I mean, because I have a
Nothing's
client right now
Nobody
that
really
developed.
wants to be the
Yeah.
first out there. There's nothing there.
yeah, like even like Argyle, like I have someone's like, hey, I want to buy a house over here, but they're like, there's no grocery store like right in that area. I'm like, there's really not. I mean, and that's why I have to tell them, I can give you the back roads to the good Kroger.
Yep.
Like, I do. I'm like, let
To
me
the
tell you,
fancy
yeah,
Kroger.
You take
You're not
this,
that far from
cross
the
over
fancy
this
Kroger.
way, and it's go over the railroad track.
Or you just
I mean,
need to introduce them to Instacart.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with Instacart right
that
now.
and Amazon Prime. I will.
Oh, yeah.
I end up getting a lot of our snacks and stuff just delivered to the door.
Yes.
Snacks, toilet paper, you know, paper towels. It's just easier.
Our zip
Yeah,
code has
yeah.
that.
Does it? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. See, okay, yeah. That's good. See, there's a tip for if you want to buy that zip
Pro
Yeah.
code.
tip.
If you want, if you want Amazon Prime same day delivery, you better be
I
in
love-
76210.
Yeah, yeah. Which I have
Okay.
used. I've used it. Don't worry.
Yeah,
So-
ditto.
but now I'm 76205, so I guess I.
You gotta
Wow.
let
You
go
just
of
have
the
to check.
zip code.
I need to check that because I use that stuff a lot as a mom, busy working mom. You do that. So yeah, no, Denton. It's. I mean, like I said, it's still very desired.
Oh,
People
totally.
love it, but that whole growth out there, to me, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It is just crazy to think that that was like the country, and now it's just
Now it's
gonna
about
have,
to be.
and it's supposed to be really nice. They're saying bigger than Lantana.
Wow.
So if that kind of gives
That's
you an
huge.
insight, look at how big Lantana is. They're expecting it to be larger than Lantana.
That's huge.
That's why I'm just and if they're expecting that many kids there, so I'm like, oh my goodness.
It's gonna be.
So I have good job. I mean, job security, right? I have
Yeah.
job
Of
security
course.
because we're building more homes, and you know,
True.
people want to move. Yeah. So
And speaking of Lantana, they have a very nice Kroger.
yes,
I don't
they
know if
do.
y'all know about
That's
that.
like the fancy.
Yes.
That's really the fancy.
That's
That's the
the land.
Cadillac Kroger.
Cadillac. We don't go to
I
that.
have to
Don't
like,
go there.
I have to dress up to go to that Kroger. I
You-
mean,
you
I mean,
do.
like, you do. Yeah, I don't want to be judged. Like, it's-
And they sell like all kinds of home goods and stuff in that one, which
Yes.
is crazy
Isn't it like
to
a
me.
super?
They're
I
the-
mean, it's almost like a super Target.
They're
right?
like
It's
a
crazy.
they're like an ultimate Kroger, and
Yeah.
not just a fancy Kroger.
I'm still wanting HEB in Denton. I'm just saying it. Like I just one day.
Ditto.
We'll get it, yeah.
Maybe if we
I
talk
wish we
about
had
it,
it.
put
Maybe
the
I-
karma out
Yeah, when I make that HGTV
Come
show, maybe-
HEB.
HEB, come to Denton.
there. If we talk about them enough, will that draw them here?
Yeah, there you
We'll
go.
see. We should just start talking about them every single time. And Trader Joe's.
Yes, Trader Joe's. That's a
Yes.
good
Trader
one.
Joe's. I've been
Yeah.
asking about a Trader Joe's for like 3 years now.
Yeah. That's-
So
keep asking.
I believe there was even a petition.
yes, one of
There
the
was. I
I
saw
forget
that.
who
Yeah.
who did it. I think it was Bryce Olson. Or
I love
someone.
Bryce. He's another
I
good
think,
realtor
I
in
think
town.
it was him that
Great realtor.
that did that. It might have been oh gosh, I don't know.
It might have been.
Well,
I have to
somebody
look.
here did it.
I saw it. I think I signed it.
I signed
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I
Pretty
did.
sure I signed that one.
Of course. And then their response was, they have a formula or something that
Yeah.
they look at, and we haven't
We're
met.
looking at it wrong.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
then they,
Need
yeah,
to
let me,
recalculate.
can I give them statistics for sold data
Yes.
and how many people grocery shop in Denton?
Yes.
And
real.
We'd like a
like-
recount.
and between all of us, we know enough people that we can talk it up. So there you go.
Yeah, if we got a
Yeah.
HEB, maybe in that new development, that maybe HEB and Trader Joe's would want to go
Whatever.
there.
I need it
Right.
closer to Denton, like downtown.
You never
Denton.
know.
I need it closer to me. Denton is taking over the
Doris
world.
says, yeah.
Denton is taking over
All
the
right,
world.
Dora.
Nice, yes.
It really is. I mean, that's the thing is like, even like when we were talking about parks, I mean, it's like we're both on the parks board. And
Yeah.
I mean, we're having to like start looking for land because of the Denton growth.
Right.
Yes.
So we're starting to look for land to take for more parks.
Of course.
And so you see a lot of the schools and the parks and trying to get whatever little land there is. So when we have this growth, we can make sure we provide the needs for the people in
Yeah.
that area.
Yes.
Being
So,
prepared.
which is, I love that the city of Denton does that, though. I love that we think ahead. So the schools are like, we're going to make sure we go ahead and buy the
Conscientiously.
land.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that way people aren't going to drive clear across town to go to the 2 or 3 high schools that are here. So,
Right.
yeah. So I'm excited. I think that makes it easier, too, whenever we sell. Because, I mean, I can kind of give them the, hey, here's where we might do this. Or here's where a school might go. Or,
Right.
you know, it's.
Of course.
So,
That's useful
yeah.
info.
Yeah. And
Yes.
here's where HEB might go. Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, just
Fingers
kidding. Yeah.
crossed.
One day we'll get there.
One day. Just like I want a
Fingers
pottery barn in
crossed.
Denton, but that, you know, whatever.
Girl, that's just
I
getting
know.
that's getting too bougie over there.
It's fine. I can shop online. I just need it right now for my house.
Yeah, the
It's
one you're about to move into.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Self-motivated
yeah,
to get it here this time.
I can drive.
All right. Well, are there any other little facts and figures that you wanted to share? Or we
No, I mean, Denton real estate.
talked
It's,
about it all.
it's hot. It's good. Just be patient on the selling side and for the buyers, I just say take your time. I mean, when you know the right one. I always tell clients, you get that feeling in your stomach, like it's like a butterfly, like it's like you just know. So, and if questions anytime, you can message me if you have questions about a certain area or like anything close to Denton. I've got it in my heart, so we're good.
That's awesome.
I love Denton.
You're a good resource.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for
Thanks.
sharing
Oh,
that.
I'm so
Yeah.
happy
Okay,
to be
we're
here.
going to do announcements, so don't go
Yeah.
anywhere.
We're just going to do about 2 weeks of upcoming events and things like
We
that.
won't be
Okay.
here
I
for
better
2
write
weeks
down what I
doing
need to
anything.
do. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No, exactly.
Okay.
Take notes, add it to your calendar.
So all of these events you can find on the Chamber's online calendar, and you can register through the website if it requires registration.
Denton-chamber.org.
Thank you. So first up, we have on Thursday, July 18th, starting at 4 o'clock, Behavioral Innovations is having their ribbon cutting. They're a business that's off of Lillian Miller Parkway. So ribbon cuttings are free, but this is a great way to meet like the business owner or the business manager, introduce yourself to be a resource for them as well. So you can use, do you want to read these?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Easton's
Then we
gonna read
have, yes, Easton's reading them. Say, this is Easton, everyone, our new co-host. We have Stoke Lunch and Learn, and Soulier Financial Group is going to be putting this on with Stoke. They're going to talk about financial planning and just knowing the difference between the different types of way that you can plan for retirement, college, estate planning, saving. So a little bit of everything, and it's only $4, but it includes lunch.
Which
That's
is
nice.
really
That's
inexpensive.
Kinda cool, yeah.
Mhm.
And shout out to Ryan and the Soulier team, who are members of the chamber.
Yeah, I want to say Jay Lancaster is going to be.
He is. Yep. Sorry,
Speaking
Jay.
of-
Yep.
very
It's
nice guy.
Jay and Ryan together. I apologize, Jay.
And full disclosure,
What?
I have Soulier as my financial advisor for like my
Oh.
401k and
Look
all
at
kinds
you
of fun stuff.
go.
So from a personal perspective, I mean, a little shout out. They do a really great job of being able to just have a conversation with you about what you want to do with your money and how you want to grow that and take care of yourself in the
That's
future.
awesome.
That's
Well, that would
good,
be a
yeah.
great place for someone to go if you had questions or want to get connected with them.
Absolutely. We've got an HR related event called HR Smart coming up on Tuesday, July 23rd. It starts at 3, goes until 5. It'll be held at the Chamber office on Parkway Street. And we're bringing in a consultant and strategist named Penny Miller. She's with SHRM, the Society for Human Resource. And she's going to be talking about, just literally everything about HR in this 2-hour
Everything in
workshop.
2 hours.
Lots of
Yes.
rules.
So you can, if you
It's not my place.
if you have questions, if you're an HR professional and you've got questions about things, or if you are your own boss,
Like a small business
CEO,
owner.
HR person, marketing person, if you do it all, this is a great way to get info. But it talks about workplace postings, personnel files, all the way through ERISA, the NRLA or NLRA, employee handbooks if you need to craft those.
And this is the chamber's hosting this, right?
Chamber is hosting.
That's
yes.
so
Great.
cool.
That is
Thank
cool.
you
It's,
for
yeah.
hosting that resource,
It's
y'all.
it's just a $15 registration. It's going to be a pretty small group
Okay.
of people, but hopefully, worth
Small but mighty.
small but mighty. Yes.
Oh, and then you give me this one.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why I was laughing.
course.
'cause you
All
had the version.
right. On July 24th is National Tequila Day at El Phoenix. So shout out to El Phoenix for doing a $1 margarita special, y'all.
That's pretty good. So if
So,
you've got
yep.
anything going on that day,
What day of the week is that?
Um,
I'm thinking, I was like, do I have to be up
let's see.
early?
I
need to look at my
don't
calendar. Yeah, I'll have to
know,
check that
but-
out
That's the
later. Yeah.
24th.
The
I don't know.
24th.
That's a Wednesday.
I can't keep.
Maybe
oh,
you can just do a half day.
Yeah, I can go over there for lunch maybe.
Same day, July 24th from 4 to 5, again at the Chamber office on Parkway. We've got a government relations meeting. We started these up. They're monthly.
Yes.
And last month was Representative Stuckey. This
Mm-hmm.
month will be a county commissioner representing Precinct 1, Hugh Coleman.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a really great resource. It's for chamber members to go in to have a conversation with these elected officials who set policy for things, and you can chat with them
Mm-hmm.
and hear what they have to say, get their explanation on things, and ask questions. So it's
That's
a really
nice.
good,
And
really good
that'll-
opportunity.
Hugh's a great one. I'm glad. It's like we got some big names
I know,
coming in.
that's
It's pretty
big time.
exciting.
Well, Coleman.
And it's a smaller group, right? So it's like kind of a
Typically,
great
yep.
opportunity to have a little bit more intimate conversation and ask those questions that you may have.
Yeah, they won't be talking at you; they'll be talking with you.
Right. A conversation.
A conversation. Mhm.
So again, another chamber program.
What a good
Then
chamber.
we have, I know, all these unique programs
it.
coming in. Great job, Travis and the team and Erica. Then we have on Thursday, July 25th. Oh, this is my favorite mixer. the July membership mixer, and this is at North Texas Fair and Rodeo. So this is the one where we actually go to the fairgrounds.
Yes.
Yep.
And it's going to be 5 o'clock. The mixer begins, and make sure to dress
Yes.
for the heat, y'all.
That's what I was gonna say.
Like,
Wear deodorant.
wear-
It's always hot. Just
That
straight
too,
up. Wear
like-
deodorant, have body spray.
Yes.
You
Yes.
will sweat.
Yes.
But that's part of.
And like, don't come in a suit.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
no. Change clothes.
if that's
Yeah.
you, I
It'll
get
be
it,
worth
but
changing
it'll
your
be
clothes.
worth change your clothes, be
Yes.
casual. You know, wear shorts. Travis is gonna wear his running shorts.
Yeah, and boots. Remember boots and running shorts?
Boots and shorts. That's a
Why
real
not?
good
New trend.
combo.
My 2-year-old used to do that. Why not? Yes.
No, but we're excited, and shout out to the North Texas Fair and Rodeo for
Yes.
hosting.
Yes.
One of my
Thank you for
favorite
that.
events. That's fun.
Mine too. It's fun.
All right. So last but not least, we mentioned it a little earlier, but Denton ISD is having their new employee reception. They have this every year. We work in concert as the chamber with the Denton ISD. Well, the school district,
Yes.
as well as the Public School Foundation and Adopt a School, to pull this event together. And, you know, as the district is growing, the community is growing, they're hiring 450
400,
or
yeah.
so employees to
That's
kind of
great.
fill in.
So crazy.
So, with all the hundreds of employees that are coming in for this, we pull this event together, and you can participate by becoming a sponsor. And your sponsorship includes a table. So, we set up a vendor where you can introduce your business to these 400 plus new employees. And we kind of talked about this a little earlier, but you registered for this.
I did. So if you're watching, you're a teacher, let me know what would be good for me to hand out for you, because what do you need? Like,
Yeah.
I'm a huge advocate for Denton ISD. Like I said, my husband and I both were Denton ISD grads. Our kids they go there and we're involved, and my kids love going to school, and I think that
That's good.
shows so much about Denton ISD.
Yeah.
It's like the fact that they get up and they go to school, and then I'm just going to say, like, I'm still in touch with so many of my teachers from Denton that, like, I had back in the 90s. But, I mean, they came to my wedding. I mean, and we still
That's awesome.
talk. So those teachers make such a huge impact on all these kids every day. And not only do they teach, but some of those teachers are there for, like, they're the only parent or, like, adult role model they have. So love the teachers and want to take care of them. So if you're thinking about sponsoring, sponsor. Like, register
it.
now, because
Yes.
this is huge. Like, take care of our teachers.
And it's a great opportunity because sponsor dollars go back into giving to the teachers
Yes.
to do some type of scholarship or grant. Is it
It's
scholarship or
grants.
grant? Thank you. Grant. And they can do stuff for their classrooms. So we talked about it last week. Like they can get new technology. They might do some new activity. Like, and the cool thing is it's teachers that are new to the district. So they may have been teaching for years and years and years.
Okay.
Right.
But
that's
never been able to accomplish, whatever it is because of this technology barrier.
Yeah.
And so it's really cool. And I mean, do you remember the amount of money that's been given
So
out?
it's
a
given over.
$1 $1
It's a
Oh,
gajillion.
yeah.
It's given over in one lump sum
Yes.
to Public School Foundation, and then they break it into pieces. And so I believe they range in size. So you can get one that's, I think you have to apply for the dollar
Yes,
amount.
yeah, you do.
But you can get like $500. You could get 1,000.
And then
so depending
I
on
think
what
even
that is.
last week she'd mentioned some like were 5,000 or more. So it's awesome.
Yeah,
so
I love it
thank you
because it's
for
like a prize
sponsoring.
patrol. They come out with a check and they do the class, and my kids will be like,
Yes.
"My teacher won something," and but it's I love because they do that. It goes right back into the school. The teachers use it. I mean, especially like my son, he's very hands-on, so some of those teachers will get the tools.
Yes.
And they're like, everyone has different learning styles. So like he would have different things for science and math, and I love it. But the sponsorships, in my opinion, are very reasonably priced. So you see some that are outrageous, like. I love that. So thank y'all for making it. Hopefully you'll have lots of people.
So far, so
I
good.
love it. That's great. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Chrissy, for being in today as our guest.
Yeah, my 2 favorite people. I mean,
Aw.
oh, three. Oh my gosh, sorry.
It's like, how could you
two and a
forget
half.
about me?
2.5, sweetie. I'm sorry. Look at her. It's just, don't hate me
She's
now.
so tired, y'all. I mean, she like stayed up. I've kept her up specifically so she'd go to sleep when we came in here.
Yeah.
She fought it and then she went to sleep. I did an extra loop, like locked in the sleepiness. Nope.
Nope.
She's like, oh, I'm gonna get to see Chrissy and Travis.
Yes.
I'm gonna hang out.
She was very good.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
she was a good girl.
So before we really sign off, we like to ask our prepared fun question, but
Yes.
we did not prepare you for this.
I
No,
was like,
So-
but you'll be fine.
Did I miss that email?
No.
So if you'd like to choose, you can answer one, both, either, feel free.
Okay.
So it's either, what was your first job, or What's your favorite way of denting?
Gosh, I'll do both. Okay, so first job was at the Golden Triangle Mall.
Oh.
those
Shout
that,
out.
those that
Nice.
go there. It was the original cookie company back in the
Yes.
days,
Fun.
like kind of by, that's when like we had like Gadzooks, everything in the mall. I was awful. Like I still am not allowed in the
was not your
kitchen.
forte.
Like just no, I'm not. So I feel bad for anyone if I ever decorated your cake in like the late 90s. Please forgive me because you probably cried. It would be so
Like,
bad.
what
that
happened?
I would call my best friend on her days off and I'd be like, come up here and help me decorate these cakes. I'm not good at all. So, but it was fun. It was the place to be. And that's when like the mall was so much fun to work at. So,
Right.
I learned that I stayed out of the kitchen. So yeah, denting, that is so hard because everything we do is denting in our
Yes.
family.
Yeah.
Like I will say that, I mean, every day in our house, we do something denting. Like we go out to eat, we come to the square. We love all the different festivals. I mean, we love the fireworks show they just had. We love the Jazz Fest. I mean, giving back, I would think would probably be our family's biggest thing. Is there's such a
that's great.
need in this community that anytime we can, we try to serve together as a family.
That's awesome.
So I would think that's probably our best way of denting is just showing others how we truly care about everyone in Denton and we love to give back.
You
I
set
love
a
that.
good
We
example.
haven't had that answer before.
That's a great
There you
answer.
go.
So
Well, that's,
thank
that's what's
you.
good about Denton. I think
That's
we all love
great.
each other and we,
Yeah.
we help. So
Denton love.
Denton love.
That's
awesome. All right. Well, with that, we will wrap up. So thank you for coming in. Thank you for being our
Yes.
guest.
Thank
That's been
you.
fun.
Thank you
Was
also
fun.
to DentonRadio.com for their support in the production of Chamber Coffee Grind. And for
Shout
more
out to Jake.
For more information about Denton Chamber of Commerce, you can reach out to us via denton-chamber.org. You can follow and friend us on social media. And tune in here Wednesdays at
Every Wednesday.
10-ish.
10-ish.
I love the tennis.
Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. We want to thank our partners and sponsors who made this show possible. And now stick around for a word from all of us here at Discover Denton.